Now, this year's severe weather has been very particular. It does not like southern Mississippi. It does not like Peoria, Illinois, and it hates Kansas City. I do not know what Kansas City did, but in terms of severe weather events, it has been the hotbed of severe weather reports so far this year. If you'd like to see tornado count, wind count, hail count, this has been a year of a lot of hail in the midsection of the country. But it's interesting to take note when it comes to severe weather this year that my home state of Illinois currently outranks Texas in terms of tornadoes. Now, why does that matter? Okay, why does that matter? I'm about to give you a forecast for the rest of spring, which only has about 20 days left in it. And then we're going to talk about summer. And if all of the wet weather, the inclement weather, the severe weather was not in the southern plains, and it was not in the southeast, and it wasn't even in parts of the delta, then there's a drought discussion to be had. We all hate severe weather, but you know what severe weather means? You are getting rain. And we have a love-hate relationship with storms, don't we? We love the rain they give us, we hate everything else. And the reality is that map is quite revealing to what's going to be happening as we go forward. By the way, one thing about this spring, a few of our friends up in Wisconsin saw all of this warm weather early and decided to jump out and plant on April 14th. And they had a problem with the way that that corn crop began to come out of the ground. You know what the problem was when you plant April 14th in southern Wisconsin? Your problem is that in May, you typically get a frost event. And the first 10 days of May after that very, very warm April, where everywhere that you see shaded in these 3 different shades of gray, the lightest of which being a light frost, the middle one being an actual frost, and the darkest being a freeze. Well, when all of that came through, we had a few problems. One, it finally snowed in Colorado. Yeah, in fact, there was a Rockies game where in the morning they were shoveling snow, in the afternoon they were putting grass back down and getting the field prepped. But that's amazing to think about. But back to my guys in Wisconsin. Those of you that dig corn plants a lot, the root system there's a bit kinked, isn't it? It's kind of got some interesting shape to it. The reason for that is right here. Sorry, ugly graph for late in the afternoon, but I'm going to show you what I was watching. They planted on April 14th, and if you zoom in here, what this graph shows you shaded there in the middle is that for about 4 straight days, the soil temperature at 7 inches was warmer than the air temperature. So guess which direction the corn plant wanted to grow? Down. And therefore, we had this really wacky, uneven stand across parts of the country that planted early. Everybody that waited after that last frost, it looks absolutely amazing. These are some of the tools that we're tracking, by the way, in ag weather, and you can check that at any time you want. Back to the drought story, though. We finish April, we get into May, the temperatures drop, and it gets really dry across much of the midsection of the country to the northwest. Really dry. And if you didn't witness it, across parts of the northern plains, leaving Montana on May 14th and 15th was a massive dust storm that went ripping through here. Can you see it pretty easily on the satellite data? If not, I brought along a video that was given to me. This video was given to me by a guy named Don Nelson. And Don commented on this video, and I apologize to Don because I retweeted it and it went viral, and everybody had their story to tell about how farmers are destroying the world. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is Montana soil that blew across North Dakota, but it was 5 inches deep on his wheels. Just amazing to see how quickly the atmosphere can change gears. And that's what we're going to have to talk about today, okay? Now, I showed you from one extreme to the next, did I not? We want to know, is that happening? Is that a thing now? Are we flipping from pattern to pattern, from extreme to extreme? Are bigger rainfall events more common now than they've ever been in the past? Well, take a look at this. Since 1981, I'm using a standard uniform data set that began with our modern radar data that begins in 1981. To last year, I've color-coded where we've seen increases in the frequency of 1-inch rainfall events and 2-inch rainfall events. Throughout the entirety of the Corn Belt, you look at the whole thing, on average from April to October, we are 4 inches wetter than we were in our historic past, going back to the 50s, 60s, and before that. But the rainfall delivery is very uneven. That's a change we've been observing. In fact, if you want to take a look at these maps and make them a little more simple, how much more likely now are you going to be to get a greater than 2-inch rainfall event per day? Well, in my home state of Illinois, it's 1.5%. You go up to parts of Iowa, about the same. Look at North and South Dakota, over 2%. In fact, South Dakota, 3.4%. Now, that may not seem like much, but it's huge. Over the entire time frame of 1981 to 2025, there's over 100 additional 2-inch rainfall events in the northern plains. Therefore, their rainfall is not coming nice and steady and easy. It's coming in these huge deluges that we have to continue to think about. So those of you in the room that are thinking about, well, we're going to continue to engineer corn and soybeans and other crops to be weather resistant, these are the things that you have to engineer against if it's going to be a weather that you're going to go against. Volatility. And by the way, you're doing a fantastic job of this, just to let you know. I can't believe what our crops can currently withstand that they used to not be able to stand at all. Whoops, sorry, we'll come back to Godzilla in a second. My little clicker's going a little nuts here. But we get to this point. And if you look right now, over the last month, this is the latest drought monitor, it was released last week. Just look at the box at the bottom. In terms of ranking how severe the drought is across the country as of the end of May, it's number 1 in 3 different categories. And everybody wants to know, where's that drought going to go? Does it build? Does it migrate? Does it shift around? And I got to try to come up with an answer of that. And I'm going to tell you something. You have no idea how much in my life I spend worrying about that one question. Because the day I answer it, I'm telling one person. And together we're going to become stupid rich. Because right now it looks like this. What I want to know is, what does that look like on July 26th? So I'm going to tell you what I think you have to watch based off historical research, research of historical patterns that can get us there. And to do that, we now got to come to Godzilla. Have you all heard about all the different names we're calling this current El Nino? Super El Nino, Mega El Nino, and then Godzilla just came out. And so I decided to make the graphic so you won't forget it. Why does everybody talk so much about El Nino? What is it? Well, I told you about its namesake. Now let's figure out why it is important that you remember that I keep referring to it as Jesus and his birthday. Because I'll tell you this, for the next 4 months, those that don't understand how the atmosphere works are going to blame everything that happens on El Nino. And I'm going to say, wrong time of year to do that. Fall, winter, spring, oh yeah, El Nino has a major, major grip on our weather patterns, but not in summer. Not in summer. I'll tell you what to watch in summer. So anyways, how big is it going to be? Well,